All righty. Well, here we are once again. Welcome one, welcome all to the one, the only Junk Shop Library channel. Home of so many things, but today in particular of Mental Health Thursdays. Old Junk Shop's humble effort to try to help goes this way. End the stigma surrounding mental health issues, and the treatment of them through various forms of therapy, through pharmaceutical intervention, through whatever works in your particular case. We got a handful of things we're going to talk about today, but before we launch into that, I got to acknowledge the folks who make all this possible to begin with. And that would, of course, be my list of Patreon patrons. These folks, with their ongoing and continued creative input, moral support, and let's face it, perhaps most importantly in these trying times, financial contributions, are supporting the channel. They continue to support the work that we do here, whether that's through our eviscerations of Holy Writ from various traditions, whether that's our End the Stigma effort on Thursdays, whether that's the fishy content, or whether that's the occasional political rant or movie rant. We do a little bit of everything here on the Junk Shop Library channel. If you're new, I certainly welcome you. I've noticed a slight uptick in a couple of key metrics the last couple of days. If you're here with us for the first time, welcome. We do this every Thursday, at least as frequently Thursday as we can, here at 3 p.m. Eastern, though we may be shifting it to a later time soon because of some other commitments that Old Junk Shop has made. In especial and particular among my patrons, I must shout out three people in particular. My illuminated manuscript, Captain Kimothy, and my genuine calfskin level patrons, Bill, and my very first patron, one and only Paul Camish. These folks really and truly have gone well above and far beyond in their support of the channel. It means the absolute world. And there's a lot of stuff we would not have been able to do without their contributions particularly. Thank you all so very much. We're also being powered by donations from a couple of anonymous folks who wish to remain anonymous. You know who you are. You know what you did. I can only hope you know how thankful we are. I see the chat is beginning to hop. Good to see y'all. Everybody is streaming in here. All the usual suspects. Epileptic Skeptic, good to see you. I hadn't seen you in a hot minute. Always lovely to see you here. Mark Caesar, far from the future. I see Geo Sam, Harmonica Man. Amber Schofield, my lovely wife Julie. Thank you for being here, my love. And somebody else. Hi, Linda. How are you doing? Alrighty, well, you may be, and as a matter of fact, I'd be astounded if you were not, because that would mean you were psychic, a little bit baffled by the title of today's stream. What in the world is the ABC edition? All right, well, it's going to be a deep cut, y'all, so settle in. Grab your beverage of choice. Paul ain't here, so we can all drink our coffee and do it in peace. You just watch Paul jump out of the woodwork just as soon as I finish saying that. Coffee. All right, well, once upon a time, y'all remember that show Third Rock from the Sun? It had John Lithgow and Kristen Johnson and guest stars aplenty, and it was about an space alien research team that landed in Everytown, USA, to do a sort of investigative mission to see what in the world these humans were like. Well, there's an episode where one of the characters, I'm drawing a blank on the actor's name, I'm sorry. He was the guy who played Inspector Gadget in the live action Inspector Gadget movie. Weird little guy with a strange voice, supposedly one of the most pleasant people you'll ever meet in your life. Anyway, wore the big furry coat a lot of the time on Third Rock from the Sun. Anyway, Harry, that character, looks out the window one day and sees it started to snow, and he screams. He absolutely loses his almighty shit and goes barreling off, waving his arms around, and starts screaming and screaming and screaming. He says, "Albino brain chiggers, cover your ears and run for your lives." Well, as a result of that, I, of course, have referred to snow as albino brain chiggers ever since. And there's a reason for that. And that comes to the confession that I told y'all. I forget if it's in the description below or if it was in the Twitter post that I posted about this stream. French Stewart, thank you. God, that was going to drive me bananas. What would I do without y'all? I'd be sitting here talking to myself is what I would be doing. Anyway, my confession is I have a phobia of snow. Like an actual, like, junk shop scared phobia of snow. Don't like it. I just told Julie this for the first time last night, and she looked at me like I had done lost my damn mind, grown a second head. But I got a big old hug out of it, so everything worked out. But yeah, I'm scared to death of snow. I don't like how it smells. I don't like how it tastes. I don't like that squeaky, squunchy, crunchy noise it makes under your feet when you walk. I don't like how it deadens the sound all around you. And I don't like how it turns so easily into ice and makes you slip and fall and slide all over the place. And that's if you're lucky and you're on your feet. Hey, Godless Granny, good to see you. How are you today? Well, as some of y'all may have heard, and as any of y'all who follow me on Instagram have been belabored with evidence of, we've had a little bit of the white stuff here the last couple of days. We're sitting right now in about 8 inches of snow, which ain't never happened in Memphis before, at least not within recent memory. And it just kept coming down. Days on end, it was snow. And I found myself getting edgier and edgier. I tried to play it off with humor. I kept looking out the window. Oh my gosh, look how much of this stuff's still coming down. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I'll be glad when it's gone. Problem is, it's going to have to melt first, which means it's going to have to get above freezing first and stay above freezing overnight instead of just melting a little and then turning into glass. I know I said I was going to try to stop smoking, and I'm on my way. All I'm doing now is smoking the cloves. It's giving me a little nostalgia for my goth club days. I will not lie. I'm working on it slowly. Anyway. Oh, that's right. Mark Caesar's never fucking seen snow. For he comes from a land down under. I apologize. I will not do that again. Yeah, once goth, always goth, says Julie. Old goths never die. They just go gray. So anyway, that's my, that and one particular breed of arthropod, and I'm not going to tell y'all what, because some of y'all mischievous and going to send me gifts if I say. Snow and one particular breed of arthropod is all I have actual, honest to God, phobias of. And I just wanted to talk a little today about, or they, yeah, well, just that. Ain't nothing that'll ever come out of my mouth that Mark won't find a way to give me shit over. Y'all are awesome. Anyway, I wanted to tell talk rather a little about phobias today on Mental Health Thursday, because we sort of generally, widely speaking, as a culture, treat them with a sort of casual humor that often includes a certain level of disdain and even a sort of presumption of weakness on the part of the person bedeviled by the phobia. Hey, Amiga Nuts is here. The links have been freed. Kevin Chaos, good to see you. Somebody make sure, Amiga Nuts, if you'd be so kind, make sure and drop Kevin's link in the chat. His channel is, I found out the other day when he was over talking with my friend Grumpy Old Dude. Kevin's channel is just painfully undersubscribed, and we got to fix that. We got to get those numbers up, y'all. So if you're not already subscribed to Kevin's channel, just pop open a new tab. assuming you're not on mobile. And do that. Subscribe. Like and subscribe. Black Sofa is here. Hello. Good to see you, as always. We will be doing your favorite series, the Book of Mormon. We will be doing that day after tomorrow, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But phobias can be extreme, and the reactions they engender can be extreme. I've got one other that I had forgotten about for a minute, and because of where I live, it's not one that impacts me on a daily or even annual checking for snow basis. Is deep water. Hate it. Terrified. Absolutely bloody terrified of. Interestingly, I know why. And that's a long, boring story that I'm not going to belabor y'all with and clutter up the show with. But I do actually, there was an inciting incident for my terror of deep water. The actual phenomenon, not the Patricia Highsmith novel. I love the book. Mark Caesar beating Amiga nuts to the punch. Thank you, my friend. Phobia of driving, says Black Sofa. You know, I always did until I started. Now I kind of enjoy it. Which, I suppose, is as good a way as any of rolling into a brief discussion, if that's what you can call this, of one of the most common ways to treat phobias, which is, of course, the infamous exposure therapy. You know, if you're afraid of snakes, an exposure therapist will first start showing you, a picture on an index card of a garter snake. You know, then work your way up to bigger pictures of bigger snakes, and then a little, bring an actual little garter snake into the room in a sealed container, and so forth and so on. And if properly done over time, a great deal of time, often years even, then you just eventually you find yourself handling, walking around with a boa constrictor draped around your neck like fucking Selma Hayek in that. What was that movie? From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn. No, From Dusk Till Dawn. Hey, Brainbug. Good to see you. I do appreciate y'all being here, even if you are bouncing between. I know I'm up against my friend Mathpig's coverage of the Mars landing. But I had forgot about that when I scheduled this at the normal time. And rather than confuse myself by moving this to another time, I left it there. And I figured I'd just let y'all choose or bounce between. So I appreciate everybody who's bouncing between or who is here. Godless Sewing, hello. My goodness gracious, everybody's here. We're talking phobias. Junk Shop's got a phobia of snow, which, as you may have heard, is not the most convenient phobia to have in Memphis right now. At least I'm not in Texas. We have power and water and are not under a boil water order. We're under a conserve water request, but not a boil water order. What was I talking about? Exposure therapy. Snobia. That's terrible. Absolutely. Absolutely fucking terrible. Boo. Hiss. Boo. Exposure therapy, for the record, should only be practiced by people who are trained in its application. If you are not trained in exposure therapy, you can actually do more harm than good. You can actually do damage and intensify the phobia. I've got a confession to make to y'all. Once upon a time, long time ago, I was in a community theater production, and word went round the backstage area that one particular person in the cast was afraid of penguins. Well, what did some of the more fallen among us do but go to the dollar store and buy everything we could find penguin shaped or with penguins on it and put it at their dressing station? We were bad. What we had not taken into account nor done research to know, to come to a knowledge of, was that this was not a, ooh, I'm afraid of the penguins. This was an actual phobia. This was a bone deep terror of penguins. I don't fully understand how that happens. Still don't to this day. But yeah, it was shockingly poor judgment and not humanistic at all. If it's any consolation, the sound of that scream will remain with me forever. Thankfully, I'm a better person now than I was when I was in high school. I hope y'all come back. Yes. Yeah. Julie, it was mean. And it was even meaner than we intended it to be. Little did we know. Our ignorance is our only excuse there, and that only takes us so far. Epileptic Skeptic says that person would probably forgive me now. I certainly hope so. But I haven't been in touch with that person in 10, 15 years. So. Mark Caesar says, Junk Shop Library, if you have snowbia, how would you react to a regiment of snowmen in your yard when you come out the door? I've already almost got that. It snowed so much and so hard for so long that all of the cars in the parking lot look like fucking Volkswagen Beetles. Yeah, some kind of weird Calvin and Hobbes moment with ranks of snowmen. That might be a moment of startlement. Put it mildly. So, the problem with these oversized sweaters is you never know if they're going to behave when you move around. But they're keeping them warm, which is very important. So, phobias. I don't rightly know how to treat my phobia of snow, my snobia, as it were. I've gone for a walk in it a couple of times the last couple of days, going out to get some life-sustaining supplies. Oh, I forgot about the snowmen in Doctor Who. Yes, those were terrifying. Duh. And I found it is less intense than it once was. I was able to just walk to my destination, walk back from my destination, and not experience anything more than fairly intense irritation, because deep snow is hard to walk on. It is difficult proposition to walk in snow that's 8 inches deep. Do weird things to your gait. I don't normally do a lot of exercise, let alone something as niche market as leg lifts. But my goodness, if you're walking in 8-inch deep snow, you have to do your leg lifts, don't you? Otherwise, you can't go anywhere, or you fucking fall down. And I was not looking to fall down in the middle of fucking parking lot or sidewalk or street or any other damn thing. Afraid of being alone. Well, yeah, I'm not. I used to like being alone, but I've gotten older since then. Mark says, I've heard the sound of snow crunching underfoot can cause some people's teeth to hurt. Oh, that would be the worst. I don't experience that myself, but oh my goodness, that would, especially in weather like this, that would suck. Amber says, try being 5'1" and walk in knee-deep snow. It sucks. I can own... Jeez. I can only imagine. How the hell do you do that anyway? You'd have to pick your legs up and then put them to either that, or you'd have to just shuffle real slow like Morticia Addams. I don't know why I'm miming things with my legs. Y'all can't see my legs. I thought this topic had a little more legs than it has turned out to, honestly. I thought I was going to have more to blather about, because we're already hitting, either only now hitting or already hitting, depending on your perspective, the half-hour mark. Does anybody, here's a weird question, and you, of course, are under no obligation to answer. Anybody ever been through formal exposure therapy? I myself have not. I have read about it. We did a couple of units about it when I was taking psychology classes in college. But, dolls. Yes, dolls can be frightening. Take a brief digression here. Dolls are one of those things like spiders. This sentence will make sense once it ends. Dolls are one of those things like spiders that you'll occasionally see in horror movies when they're completely unrelated to the plot. It's like you'll have your basic boring hardcore slasher movie, and then randomly doll or randomly spider, just to make sure to get a scare moment in there for the members of the audience who are not terrified of mad masked slashers. Mark Caesar can't understand why so many people are afraid of clowns. Well, it's the unnaturalness. The proportions are wrong, the feet are too big, the smile is too wide, the skin is too white, the eyes are too dark, everything's just a little too exaggerated, and it butts up against that uncanny valley trigger for a lot of people. And as Julie points out, there's a lot of scary lore about dolls in the South. There's a lot of scary lore about dolls in a lot of places. Yeah, very. And honestly, as a lot of, there's weird lore about a lot of things that are human-ish or part of human-ish. There's a lot of great horror stories based around, suits of clothes or gloves or things like that. It could be, Mark, but I'd be hesitant to lay everybody's coulrophobia, technical name for fear of clowns, coulrophobia. I'd be hesitant to lay every case of coulrophobia at the feet of John Wayne Gacy. Epileptic Skeptic says, my significant other hates spiders. Yeah, I know some folks who are not fond of spiders at all. I know a couple of people who are, shall we say, not fond at all of cockroaches. And one person for whom that dislike treads into actual phobic territory. Unfortunately for that person lives even further south than I do, so should have gotten a bigger coffee cup today. Anthropomorphized. That may be what I was trying to say. Thank you, Harmonica Man. Harmonica Man is starting a new channel. I saw your little trailer the other day. And when I say little trailer, I don't mean it in a dismissive way. I mean, it's like, 30, 40 seconds long. Somebody rustle up that link if you don't mind, because we gotta get some feet under that channel and get some traction going on it. Y'all know me; it's all about the community. Get to know Australian spiders. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Sir Little Wolf. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome. I did have another point I was going to land on whilst we were talking phobias, but I don't. Yes, I do. Because it's right here. It's right here. It's been staring me in the face with its big green stripe ever since I turned the stream on. A lot of folks' reactions to their phobia triggers can appear comical. There can be funny noises. There can be exaggerated physical reactions. There can be literal running away. And the unkind but not uncommon reaction to that can be laughter. That ain't right. That is not good. That is not humanistic. And it just ain't right. We need to be able to talk about these things. And by these things, y'all know, I mean everything that I cover on this channel, everything that I've covered in the past, everything that I've yet to cover, however long this series ends up having legs on it. And if you're laughing at it, if you're mocking it, whatever it is, if you're laughing at it, if you're mocking it, what that means is you're not taking it serious. Lee. And phobias, like any other mental health event or phenomenon, deserve to be taken seriously. Especially by grown-ass adults. You know, I feel bad about my penguin stunt, but I was a kid. I should have known better, but I didn't. And I didn't think it through. And there's only so much auto-flagellation you can do about dumb shit you did when you were a kid. Silence. That can be rough. Back when I don't talk about this often, but here is the place, and now is the time. I don't mean to usurp your topic, Little Wolf. I see your second comment down there. I used to have a lot of trouble dealing with silence. Back during my my psychotic episode, which lasted the better part of 2 years and involved some unpleasant symptomatology, including the hearing of actual voices, and silence around me did not play well with that, which sort of leads into Sir Little Wolf's comment. In the silence, I can hear my inner voices that tear me down. Hear what you're saying. And being alone crops up again. Not the first time that a fear of being alone has appeared in the chat today. Well, I don't even know that counts as a phobia. We, Homo sapiens, we are a social species. We evolved. Yes, we did. To dwell in groups. Not giant fuck-off groups. You know, it's psychology says says you can only really acknowledge as part of the tribe. What is it? What is it, like 50 people? But groups, that's how we developed. We are not we're not poison dart frogs. We didn't evolve to hang out alone. We're not built for it. Now, conversations with yourself, Mark brings up. That's I got to tread lightly here because, as I should have led off the broadcast by saying, I am no kind of professional. Conversations with oneself, I don't see any issue with. It's when you're struggling with voices that seem to be or are independent of your own consciousness, especially negative ones. That those can be unpleasant. Those can be intensely problematic. Those can cause you real difficulties in life, in day-to-day functioning. I have been there, and it is no fun. It is a novel experience, don't get me wrong, but it is not fun, and it is not good. Hey, Esther, good to see you. You didn't quite miss it. We don't usually run these much longer than 45 minutes or an hour, but we're having a good conversation, I think. So you didn't miss the whole. Oh, butterfly knives. I do have a fondness. I've got one somewhere. Can't find anything since we fucking moved. Can't find a damn thing. Interestingly, some people, and I am unanimous in this, some people can see like filmic depictions. Robert X, hey, I'm sorry if you came in earlier and I didn't see you. Always nice to have you in the house, my friend. Some people can see filmic depictions or painted depictions or read literature concerning or what have you of things of which they are afraid, even phobically reactive, and not have any issue with it. Some people, if they've got a phobia of something, they can't even see a picture of the fucking thing. And that makes beginning exposure therapy, which ties back, Mark, to your question that I completely missed to answer a minute ago. As far as I know, exposure therapy is at least generally considered in the treatment professions to be at least the most efficacious way of at least diminishing the extent and the impact of phobias. But some folks' phobias are so damn intense that they can't look at a picture of a clown on a playing card. And what do you do from there? Do you start with a smiley face? What do you do? I don't fucking know. That's not my field. I don't have a field. I am the consummate layman. I know a tiny little bit about a handful of things. I'm sorry. Was it Linda? How many minutes? The rover's about to hit, and I think we should probably round this out and bounce over to Math Pig's channel so that we can see the historic moment here in just like 10 minutes or so. Lucas the Spider! Yes, y'all, unless you've got really, truly powerful, deep-seated phobias about spiders, arachnids, various things, you should check out Lucas the Spider on YouTube. It's absolutely adorable. It's home done CGI, but it's just fucking adorable. The voice of the spider is done by like the 6 or 7 year old son of the animator. It's just a little bit of delightment that you need in your life. Okay, so, well, like I say, we usually run these about 45 minutes. It's been almost 47. We've got history happening live, and a dear friend of mine and of y'all's and of the communities is covering it. So if somebody will drop the link to Math Pig's live stream dealing with it, with the, not launch, landing, the other end of the trajectory. I'll wrap this up real quick, and I'll hope to see y'all over there. As always, thank you for coming. Thanks to those of y'all who support me on Patreon. Thank you to the anonymous donors who have kept us afloat the last couple of bits when things have really been rough. Do what you can to end the stigma. Join the groups, use the hashtag, spread the positive mental health accounts that you find on social media, whatever it is that you do. If we all do our part, we can do something. Take care, everybody. Be safe. Stay warm. Stand against hate. We'll see y'all again soon, whenever that may be. Saturday for the Book of Mormon, if not before.